Okay, folks, good evening. Monday edition, and we got something kind of cool. We got an unboxing to do. I decided not to make a video. I just got bored. I wanted to get going. Let's turn some lighting on in here. And I know what this is, but yeah, I didn't want to get bogged down in making a video, editing it, and then waiting an hour and a half for it to go out and all that. So, because we need to get a move on, and we got some exciting news coming up, or at least I think they're exciting. So, I went ahead and ordered a barrel for the Panther. So that'll be coming hopefully by the end of the week. So we can get this thing because by the time I looked at it, this thing's got a lot of air bubbles in it, but it's actually a pretty decent model. So let's make it shine. I really like the way the camouflage turned out. So we've got that coming. The antennas that came from the other company were just too thick, so I got some other ones coming towards the end of the week. Some music wire, as they like to call it, so that should be the right thickness for that. And we've got this that I talked about it a little bit that I ended up getting from eBay, and it was just something I was just kind of surfing around, and I don't know why this says made in China because what's in here isn't, but reusing boxes. But I was just kind of surfing around, and I saw something on eBay that looked like somebody really didn't want. It was actually a pretty good price. And I had it in my cart, and then they made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. It was just too inexpensive. So, we'll get to open it together. Let me know if you want me to open that now or wait till more people show up. Hey, that gets people involved, right? But I wasn't looking to purchase anything, but sometimes it's something that's just really inexpensive. And it was really a couple of the things. It's actually one of the items that I was looking forward to. The other things were just extra freebies. So, but we've got the Panzer IV almost complete. We just have to put it on a stand. Is the stand for it ready to go? Be nice to finish something instead of having all these half done things. So, 4 people and nobody's talking. Well, you got to let me know if you want me to do the unboxing. Where is that? Where is the other bottom to it? We got to knock these and I should say is I got these Germans to finish up, which consists of the Panzer IV, the Panzer IV Frankenpanzer that's just, it's going to be a late G, the H, and this guy. So once these guys are done and this is complete, Stephen Curry, welcome back. And we're going to do this afterwards, unless this ends up not being what I think it is. And then we'll go do the Soviets. We'll go do more Soviets. We want to flip-flop. I don't want to just do a bunch of Germans or just Soviets, or just flip-flop back and forth. Okay, so this is something I could not pass up. And remind me to tell you how much I paid for it. Okay? And that's the reason you'll know why I got this. I'm like, why, Tony, why are you getting this? You don't need any more of this. Well, I just couldn't pass it up. And I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that anything I buy now, I'm probably going to finish. I've got a pretty good track record of it on 20 mil stuff, anyhow. Steven, I don't think you've been here since I've switched to 20 mil. Maybe you have. Maybe it seems like it's been a while. How you been? We're going to cut this thing open. This was something that came from Florida. I actually thought I knew who the vendor was. based on where it was coming from, what city in Florida it was coming from. But unless it's somebody's, it's a lady that has the same last name, same first name that my wife does. So unless it's taking her husband's stuff and selling it. It says fragile. I'm surprised that this is really fragile, but all right. One free piece of foam. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is the, looks like this is the very first thing. This is what got me into getting it. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell you how much I paid for it. I was looking at this and it was on sale for $9.99. Buy it now. Obviously, not including shipping. And I had it in my cart. And then they said, okay, if you could take it, if you give me $7.50 for it. I'm like, sold. I actually thought about it a little bit because I do want to finish everything. I have kind of this unwritten goal that I want to finish everything I have in a year. Only because that would be kind of thrilling. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I'm going to be able to knock out just about everything. And I don't know the name of the manufacturer of this, but this is a 20 millimeter Stug. I suspect this is FAA because it is a mixture of white metal parts and resin. And I don't know what's in here, but there's nothing. It actually had everything all laid out in the drawing here. Here it is. And we're gonna assemble this thing tonight. Maybe. I think it's FAA. Even though I went to go look at their site. See what it says here. But it's got the little hatches. Man, it looks big. It's going to dwarf my other one. Well, I don't care. Panzer III Stug. Tracks and gun only. I don't know why. It looks like it's got all the pieces here. Man, this is huge. It almost looks too big. It's a little on the large size. I don't care. Here we go. And we've got the, I'll find out which one it is. I'm pretty sure it's a G. It might be an F. And we've got the little mount here for the machine gun and the hatch for the loader and the hatch for the commander. And I'm going to put two figures in here. I'm going to go ahead and put both figures in here. And then we got spare road wheels up here that end up going somewhere. I've got all kinds of photo references. I've got multiple books on the Stug, but there it is. Okay, so pretty nice. I'm going to compare that to the Fujimi Stug, which is 1/76 scale, and it used to be somebody else's model. I think somebody told me it was a Nito, and I really liked how this thing turned out, but this other guy is going to dwarf it. Well, it's actually not as big as I thought it was going to be. Compared to it, it is bigger, but I mix and match stuff. You know, you can't be, you know, sometimes you just can't miss out on a deal. And, you know, again, I paid $7.50 plus shipping for this and other things. Actually, one other thing, because the third thing is something I really need and want. And you'll know when I get it what it is. Warm day in New York State today. The snow melted. Ooh, mud hole. Okay, let's put all this stuff together. Okay. What else do we have in here? Oh, now we'll do what I didn't want last. This is kind of something I also didn't want. And then after I got it, I kind of made a discovery the last couple days, and I have a feeling we're going to be able to do something really cool with this. This is, you know, we always talk about what's the ugliest vehicle around. This is one of the ugliest German vehicles of all time in the Second World War, in my opinion. And it is an RSO Pack 40. An RSO is basically a fully tracked truck, so to speak. And they made about 80 of these guys where they added a Pack 40, an anti-tank gun, to it. And again, I don't know who the hell this is from. This is pretty... doesn't matter. This might end up being... But they showed me a picture of all the shots, and you basically... I have a Pack 40 here, which is a German 75mm anti-tank gun, plus one that goes on here. Now, what I'm going to plan on doing is with this thing is I'm going to build it in such a way, my intent is, that there's going to be a little magnet on the bottom of this. So I'm going to be able to rotate this, because one of the things that this vehicle wasn't very successful because it didn't have any armor. But it has to be a KV. No, there's just like a lack of KVs out there, you know. And this wasn't very successful, but it did have a 360-degree field of fire. So we're going to put a rare earth magnet on here, and maybe one on the other side, and we'll be able to position this depending on where it's aiming from. I have a feeling this is Ratham. I believe Ratham used to make one. Oh, look. What side is it? The right one. Yes, there was actually a nickname for Raupenschlepper, too. It was like, piece of shits go east or something like that. There was something like that. But anyways, this is an extremely ugly vehicle, in my opinion. Okay? With that said, I'm looking forward to building it. Because sometimes, you know... so one of the things that I did pull out is a German gun crew. So we are going to do some figures in the near future, and I got a German gun crew here that looks like I started on, you know, a couple of decades ago. But anyhow, so this comes with a Pack 40, which I don't really need because I have multiple of them, and none of them finished, and this and the RSO. One of the ugliest vehicles, in my opinion, in the German armed forces of the Second World War. Still, the ugliest vehicle, I think, of the Second World War, period, from everyone, has got to be that damn duck truck. That thing is ugly as sin. That is ugly as crap. So I've read quite a bit about these guys recently, because I knew it was coming. Once I knew it was coming. Okay, and the thing I didn't give a shit about is figures. Because there's some of my least favorite figures in 20mm that are company called FAA. I really hate these figures. I really hate their faces is what I hate. So I think I'm going to use these guys to do some head swaps. But I'm not in a huge hurry to... I mean, they're late war Germans. They're, you know, they're not... It's not like it's that unuseful. I just don't like their faces. Their faces are very... they look like... Eddie the... they look like Eddie the mummy from Iron Maiden. which looks great for a mummy, but not, you know, not everybody in your damn army. If this is some real late war, you got guys with MP44s with night sights and stuff like that. This guy might actually be okay because his face is mostly hidden. But they just have extremely big cheekbones. So, I didn't care about these guys. But, so I got all this for $7.50. So it was like $15 all told. So I think it was a pretty good deal. I look forward to building the RSO and making something that is not very exciting look kind of cool, you know. So anyways, that's my unboxing. I didn't want to make a video about it. That just bogs me down into not getting things done. And yeah, so let's put Stoogie away. But now maybe you understand why I had to get that. I didn't have either. Well, I can always use another Stug, and that's really the second one I have. I have a Stug 4, so now I'll have 3. Okay. And I still don't know where the hell my German tank crew is. From War Games Foundry. So my Panther doesn't have a crew member for the top. So, okay. This stand is the one that goes on the Panzer III. That one needs to be dry brushed. This guy needs to be epoxied down. I don't know what the hell this one goes to. I thought it was this one, which it could be, but I've already got this one painted, so you might as well just use the one I already have done. You bought Fireball 4 recently, World War II rules, not like FAW. If you walk from an MG, it kills you. Yeah, all those games just are a scale that I've done before. The only game that, back to what I was, the set of rules that I use. It's a set of rules that aren't available anymore called the Face of Battle. The closest set of rules that I'm not going to use is Chain of Command. Chain of Command is close. If Face of Battle was never created, I probably would use Chain of Command and add more detail to the vehicle versus vehicle combat. That's probably what I would do. And maybe randomize some of the hits on the infantry. And not make it D6. Okay, so now I'm changing the whole damn thing. I'm a percentile guy. So, using D6 in a World War II game is weird to me. So. Okay, so this guy's going to need to be glued down. He's ready to go. We need to dry brush this, and we can put this Panzer III on there, and he'll be ready to go. We have this guy just needs a stand, and he'll be ready to go. I don't know what I was thinking when I made the stand for oh, here we are. We're dropping shit. Now, that's my new thing now. I drop shit everywhere. I can't wait to get older. So I can be a klutzel fuck all the time. Nerd burglars and clusterfucks. Hey, Nordic. I don't know what I was thinking, but I decided to make this, which actually it works okay. But the whole reason I did not base the Panthers is because I was limited to this width on these shims that I got. I got all these free shims from work, and they're all this width, right? So why would I make extra stands and they're the same freaking width? Using this material that I can make any length at all. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I'd say I need to be drug tested, but that would just be a waste of a urine sample. So I'm not happy with that. I don't know what the hell I'll use these guys for, but I'll use them for something else. We're going to cut new stands for the Panther in Panther-sized ones. I'll do all 3 of them. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and get some stands done. These 2 are done. We're going to put them off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and cut a stand for him, which is the same as this one, which is the same as this one and this one. So I need to cut 3 that are identical to the one that this one's on and make 3 for the Panther. Okay. Can I remember that? I don't know. Let's get the shims first, the black shims. Also, stop eyeing my Catherine Winnick bikini picture Tony sent you. I actually like the other picture of her better. And the only reason is because you got to leave something for the imagination. You know? Okay. Let's move the Panthers, the big cats, out of the way. Actually, the Panthers shouldn't be big cats. They should be fat cats because they were very overweight for their size. Like Garfield. All right. I'm going to make this just a tiny little bit wider. Okay. And we'll do this. Let's just do a check and make sure we're okay. Yep. And this one should fit okay on this one too, right? Yep. I hate that I have just about one of every vehicle. All the old vehicles, that's what it is. One of these, one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these by this manufacturer, one of these by this manufacturer. But like I said, the reason I have the things I have is because back when I got them was the day when there was a thing called a hobby store. And you would buy whatever the hell they happen to have in stock because they had it there. Now, you're like, I'm just going to order exactly what I want from Amazon, and they will bring it to me. And not have to buy whatever the hell it is they happen to have on the shelves. But I did order the barrel for the other Panther, which cost too much money. Cost too much money. It costs like $8 and like $5 shipping. But it's either that or I'm never going to finish the Panther. And honestly, I think I did a good job with it. I like the way the camouflage turned out. And it actually looks okay. It's got some detail on it and stuff like that. You know, it's a nice model. So it's either that or never do anything with it. Well, I just decided to. For the price of half of a refilling of my card on Starbucks, I can have all the parts to have a functioning Panther. When you look at it that way, it's not that expensive. Okay. So these are this will be this Mark III and then the other Mark IVs. And I still have another Mark IV-H to do. And a Mark IV F2. And then I'm done with the ones I have. But it is early April. October, November, December, January, February, March. In 6 months, I've knocked out about 75 vehicles or so. So if I stay on this pace, I should be done with all of them in a year. Do you miss the days of a good hobby store? Yes and no. I am doing 1-to-1. Absolutely. Absolutely. I grew up doing command decision. 1-to-5. I don't mind 1-to-5. I don't mind playing 1-to-5. I'm just not going to go through all this effort to play 1-to-5. Like, for instance, I played... Consider yourself lucky. All's around here catered to 40K. And you're lucky enough to find players there. Yeah, and they probably smell bad. I'm not doing DBA anymore. And one of the reasons I'm not doing it is I can't just like paint things and say, oh, I got to paint a bunch of stuff. F it. I'm just going to do the dip method, right? I want to I want to do fine research and paint things and do as good a job as I can on these things. So if I'm going to do all that effort, why do I want to play a game that's very vague, that's going to treat every guy the same? No, I want these, it's not like it's a even what's that game that's out there? Battle something. It's a British set of rules. Battle something. Battle group Kursk and stuff like that. I looked at the cards. The vehicles don't have enough details. And no, we're not using all of these at once. Just think of this as like I'm building models and they'll get played with, Saying that lightly. Smell bad and are horribly poor sports that all have to win at all costs because they lose at life. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. The other reason that I'm not doing DBA is somebody got involved in it and they're kind of a questionable player. And work has just been too difficult. It's been too challenging. And I'm afraid I'm just going to I'm just going to rip somebody a new one. Because I've got zero tolerance to deal with people that play shifty. Let's just say shifty. And do it on purpose. It's not like they made an honest mistake. I just don't have the patience for that. I'm not going to put up with it. I don't know why the hell I cut that to that dimension. I did like that game. Yeah, it looks like they did a decent job doing the terrain. Most people just say, F the terrain. Well, it looks like they did a pretty good job with it. I mean, they did a good job with it. They didn't do a good job of saying F the terrain. That would be something different. All right, let's get my... There's a ruler here somewhere. There it is. All right. There's some of the dimensions of this that I liked. I liked the width that I went with. Okay. What did I go with? Looks like 2 inches. Or did I do metric? No, looks like I didn't do metric. 2 inches. Is 2 inches wide enough for anything? Is 2 inches big enough for everything? That's what she said. No. Okay, we're going to go metric because that's kind of a weird dimension. Because I don't think 2 inches is... It is actually a little bit bigger than 2. Yeah. So I'm going to go 55 millimeters. No, I don't see your post at all. I don't know what's going on. I'm not doing anything different, so... You're not blocked. I don't block anybody unless they come and cause trouble. That hasn't happened in a while. All right, let's make sure we like this. Yep, that's good. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut another one too while we're at it. Technology is great when it works. When it doesn't, you're going to wish it was never invented. Because it's just frustrating. Technology should help you, not make your life more difficult. Just like if you've got somebody that does work for your company, whoever it is, somebody that's lower on the food chain than you are, and they're not helping you out, Yeah, I see you, but I don't see your posts. Well, I saw no shower blockers here. Did you say something other than that? Oh, shit. I got my contacts in, so I can see things far away, but not up close. There we go. This is the first thing I went to. These are plus 3.5s. But I take my contacts out and I got plus 6.5. This is such a different material than the shims. The shims are super high tensile strength. They're made for, concrete panels to go on them, so they can handle a lot of PSI. This, on the other hand, seems mushy when I cut it. Too bad people like hackers out there. Could be. I don't. Somebody posted the other day on one of the sites I go to and said, hey, you guys need to make the game a lot easier. And some games are just too damn difficult. This is in response to video games. There's some people just don't have a freaking job. Like, I want things to be a challenge, but I don't want to... Like, I hate doing any game that involves boss fights. Where it's like, oh, you get killed like 27 times before you can beat this thing. I'm like, I don't enjoy beating my head into a wall. Do you? I really don't. This is nice material, though. And it's available locally. And it's available by somebody who's been in business a long-ass time. Evergreen. So I don't think that they're going to disappear. Because the last thing I want is them to go out of business and I have to reinvent the wheel again. All right, we're going to forget these guys existed. Because I had a senior moment, I guess, I was probably distracted. Let's find out a reasonable length to make these. It doesn't have to be underneath the whole vehicle. It can be. It can be. Because the reality is whatever is left over here, I'm not going to be able to do much with it. You can see one of the pieces I ended up just using it for a pallet. Well, yeah, I could use that for something else, like a heavy mortar team or something like that. If we decided to do it at the edge of the tank and the edge of the tank, what kind of length are we talking about? Let's keep it metric. Let's keep it metric. And of course, it's facing the wrong way. 90. Looks like 90 millimeters is about right. Okay, if we do 90 millimeters, do all the Panthers look decent with that? Well, this one looks almost too big. And I'd like to keep them all the same. Yeah, 90 is pretty freaking big. What about the Hasegawa one? Because we're going to end up redoing the Hasegawa one. It doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look as... 90 is about right. I probably could do 85. Let's go 85. And I'd normally use a T-square, but I don't have one. I actually went to go order one on Amazon. I was like, "They're how much?" Never mind. I can get by without one. Well, that doesn't look right. I wish I had one, but I need a little one. It just doesn't need to be super precise. It just doesn't need to be noticeable to the human eye that it's messed up. Let's check again. Yeah, I like that. You cut your own bases for WRG. That's a pain in the ass. I gotta sub that out. Should be able to get one at Home Depot for under $10. Oh, I don't know if that happened on the same day, though. Now, I hate going to stores. I hate going to stores and finding somebody and they don't know where anything is in the one store. I worked in retail before. And it's not that you don't know anything, but they won't make any effort in finding it for you. I'm sorry. I used to work in retail in the 80s, and you'd get fired for shit like that. Now people are just like, I don't give a shit. And the manager doesn't either. And then you wonder why Amazon's taking everybody's job. Okay. Now, because we went through this whole piece, I'm just going to put these over here somewhere. We use the other piece. Right? Because this remainder is not big enough. There's lots of stuff we can use it on. This is what I use right here. Evergreen, 2 mil thickness. I want to get some silly putty, right? Because why isn't this open? Is there only one sheet in this thing? I guess maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. I bought both of them. I want to save this packaging just to make sure. If for some reason they stopped carrying this at Hobby Lobby and I got to Amazon this too. This is 55, right? Yeah, okay. So we'll just cut 55 off of this one. The epoxy I always get, they didn't have it in Ace Hardware. I wasn't going to look at it in 50 places, I just Amazoned it. It costs time, and it costs fuel, and it costs frustration. And it comes out of your free time. It's not like, well, while I'm at work, let me go check this out. No, it comes out of your free time, which is limited. You see that getting... Yeah, this stuff works great. I mean, the best thing is my shims, okay? Because it's black, it's free, you know. Walmart, I hate going to Walmart. Ever since that old man died, I hate going to Walmart. The best thing at Walmart is self-checkout. Great, now I don't have to deal with a grumpy person at the register too. But everybody there is in a bad mood. You know, if you're that angry about going to Walmart, don't go to Walmart. They pissed me off several years ago when they took ammo off the shelves. We're not going to sell you ammo. Well, I'm not going to buy your Chinese shit in your store. How about that? Treat me like a child. You guys got one of them Rural Kings? That's a weird effing store, man. And I'm from the South, but I'm not Southern. There's a difference. I am proudly from the South, but I am not Southern. And I step into that store, and I swear it's like the South had won the war, which would have been a bad thing. It's a damn cult. No, everybody's angry there. The shoppers are angry. The people that work there are angry. You know, look, everybody, I think anybody who has a job does some kind of customer service, right? You either do it for people off the street, contractors, whatever. I do customer service. I just want half of the customer service / respect that I give my customer. Is that too much to ask? It isn't. And you don't get any, you know? It's like when you go through a drive-through and you get an attitude, I don't go to that drive-through anymore, you know? You don't have to kiss my ass, but you don't, you know, I don't have to put up with your shit either, you know? I guess it's going to be another preaching episode. It's not preaching. You guys can do whatever you want, you know? I don't care what other people do. I went to Walmart one time, several years ago, back when I was still going to it. And I wanted to go get spray paint. Hey, there's a problem I don't have anymore. Rattle cans. And of course, because I'm buying spray paint, you got to get a manager to make sure I'm not getting it to huff, right? It's not like I don't have a shitload of tequila here to get drunk if I wanted to, which I never do. And tequila, scotch, etc. I got to call. So they call in the manager, and the lady that's helping me, I was like, yeah, I don't know, this is ridiculous. You know, I got all kinds of liquor at the house. I said, well, you know, it's a real problem. And she started telling me, she started giving me this confession about how her daughter had been addicted to it and, you know, started huffing and, you know, okay. Okay, thanks. Get me out of here. And that's with getting there at like 6 a.m. on a Sunday. Because when I have gone, it's been in a time where it's not crowded. You know, because the parking lot's a zoo. I just try to avoid problems on my free time. You can't during the week. During the week, you sometimes have to deal with situations that are a pain in the ass, but at least you're getting paid for it. Wow, we must have the best people here. In what respect? There's bad people everywhere. You think the evergreen material would work well for 10 mil if I cut into one? I wouldn't want to try to cut all these things even. But if you're not going to buy Litgo, it actually sands really well. It's a strange material. It feels like it's almost slightly air entrained. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it doesn't feel completely solid. That doesn't mean it's weak. It's just odd. And I'll show you here in a second when I go and sand the edges. I didn't even think about this material, but I've never really bought it. You need to just decide what you're going to do, and then let everybody know, and then realize that we're going to make fun of you if you don't follow through. That's what I do. I say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I just feel like if I tell people I'm going to do something and I don't, I kind of owe them a reason why. You know, sometimes we all need a little bit of a drill sergeant. You know what I'm saying? Or we wouldn't get anything done. How much was that per sheet? I want to say $4. I want to say it was $3.99. Is the price on it? I think it's pre-printed on it. $3.99. So, you know, it's either that or wood. I know this isn't gonna warp. I'm gonna put something wettish on it. I just don't like that it's white, Because if something should, but you know, it works fine. I think I could have gone one size thinner than this one, but this is only going to be the big vehicles. So, you know. Nah, balsa's too grainy. I don't trust balsa at all. It's very easy to snap. I'd use basswood, but... Okay, that's pretty close. Now, let me show you how... Oh, no. Let's do the corners on this one too. And what I'm doing is there's actually a center point here. I'm trying to put the corner of this, when I put it in, up against it and kind of estimate like a 45-degree angle. You know, just kind of get kind of close, you know. I don't know if you could tell how much harder this material is, but it is a lot harder. We're playing the Zulu game. I got desire to do some miniatures, but definitely not the... Yeah, don't paint the miniatures that you have. I don't paint stuff I don't like. F them. Should have made them better. I should say life's too short. No, life isn't too short. My time's too valuable. I used balsa wood one time for one thing. It's just weird. It's like fuzzy. It warps like crazy. Basswood's a better alternative, but you know, by the time you paint it, it's going to warp and stuff. And I'd rather not have to. Well, if you paint both sides, how about you just use plastic? You know, and you got to get it so much thicker so that it has resistant. It gets stuck in here. That's why I have to tap it from time to time. Okay. All right, so now we're going to, let's clean these up some. I know some people that just leave hard edges. It's fine if it works for you. I'm not going to go back and redo them all. I happen to like them round. Looks like a plain piece. I mean, the stands are round. I don't know why it didn't occur to me to use this material. But sure enough, they had 2 packets and that was it in the store. So I bought them both. And if they had 4, I probably would have gotten 4. But it could keep me busy for a little while. You know, I could probably get, of these large vehicles, 4 or 5 of them for sure. I could cut them in a different way and get more use out of it, but I've got these smaller ones. Just like these little ones that are left over of the shim material. This, I got German half tracks and American half track coming up. These will fit just fine for them. So. And I'm okay not putting tanks on bases, Kevin. The problem is some things are going to have to be on a base. So then you need to decide, do you want some things on bases and some not? Or base everything? And I just decided I'm going to base everything. Because it gives me the option of putting a magnet on them. And some vehicles have to be on a base because they're just too damn flimsy. And I didn't want some on and some not. So, you know. I'm not 100% sold on it one way or another. There's you know, I have mixed feelings about it, but I'm firmly into putting them on the base camp now because, hell, I got 60 of them on there. But, you know, like this vehicle doesn't need it because, you know, it's not going to fall apart. But, you know, if you have like flimsy, separately, like, you know, look at these tracks. These tracks suck, right? And they're like ripped here. Well, I'm going to put goop in there and you won't be able to tell. You know, so that's one I'd probably want to base, you know. Or like this one that's missing a damn road wheel. Well, I'm going to put a bush in front of it, you know. Okay. So let's get this little guy. I mean, when we played Micro Armor, we didn't even put our tanks on bases. And, you know, if you got to move them around, I think carrying them on bases is probably helpful. Although I don't think I'm going to travel with this game. This is going to be played here, and that's it. I'm certainly not bringing it to a show. I like MDF. It's just not available locally thin enough. But I do like MDF. It's funny. In the UK, things that are made of wood are like prohibitive. But cork is cheap. And cork is like extremely expensive here. Like you'll see things that you'll see stuff in that war games, how to make war games terrain and stuff like that. Use cork for this, use cork for that. Well, if you go to IKEA, you can get some cork that's that's affordable. But normally cork is extremely expensive here in the United States for what it is. I mean, cork is a really cool material. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't want to use it, but... Adepticon sounds like something that would be a 40K only convention, right? Adeptus Mechanicus, isn't that one of those 40K things? See, I know things. Actually, I don't know things. I hear about things. Adeptus Mechanicus, Adeptus Titanic. I don't know. That sounds like one of those, things. Ben Waddy, welcome. Yeah, shipping's stupid and nobody wants to pay for it. I wonder if there's a lot of people in the UK that are just like, oh man, I can't get GHQ stuff. They're too expensive with the shipping. Meanwhile, everything we want comes from the UK. Not everything, most things. The land of toys and models. I swear, if I could add water to this, I'd make like a paste that I could use as putty. That almost seems like what this is. It almost is a strange material. All right, let's get the vacuum cleaner. I think the wife took it somewhere. I saw it sitting over here. Are historians a dying breed? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh, whatchamacallit's pretty young. Dan Jones is, and he's all hip and stuff. He's got like a tattoo sleeve and everything. And I love his books. He's great. I honestly don't know. Degree in history and anthropology. Holy Yamamano, Batman. Oh, I know what. I got a nickname for you. You could be like Homo habilis. I took 2 years of anthropology. 2 years? 2 semesters. 2 classes of anthropology. We had a really cool teacher. And he was really cool. He was kind of like a Indiana Jones kind of character. He was probably my age at the time, even though I thought he was an old dude. He's always hitting on all the girls in the class. This is in college. Ended up passing away pretty young, but I couldn't do something that would involve going somewhere that has no air conditioning. It just doesn't interest me. It just doesn't interest me. You know, you want to be a kid, of course, you want to be a paleontologist, right? Because, you know, dinosaurs are freaking cool. You know? But who the hell wants to go to the freaking sandbox? You know? They call me archaic human. Just one of those things I remember, man. Australopithecus africanus. Australopithecine. Homo habilis. What else can I remember from that? We had a book on the Yamamano. That's these primitive people that live in the rainforest between Venezuela and Brazil, and they wear no freaking clothes, and they tie their weenie up with like I'm sorry, if I'm running through a freaking jungle, I'm wearing something over my, you know, things that, you know, you could get disabled by, you know, easily disabled. The only air con we have in the UK is an open window. Why do you think we don't live on that continent? I'm a spoiled American. I'm telling you, I am. I am. And I don't mind being hot, but I need to be doing hot things, you know? So, like, I don't mind going to the gym, right? I don't mind going to the bike here that I have here at the house. But I'm not going to pay money to go to a CrossFit thing, which is basically sweating in a garage. I'm like, I got one of those. Why am I paying for that? You know? And I also have a job where I'm hot all the time. So, you know, I'm not particularly keen on doing that shit for free. If you know what I'm saying. Why don't you become alluvial deposits and wash away? I always wondered why people settled here, 120 degrees and all. I don't know. They wanted to get away from the Mexicans. Oh, that didn't work. Looking for gold? That's why they came here. My ancestors came here looking for the freaking fountain of youth. They didn't find it and said, fuck this, we'll come back when there's air conditioning. Bugs? Why would you want to come to Florida? It's freaking bugs galore. You know? And we realize there's got to be some place where, you know, what is the best place on earth to live? And I'm not saying, I'm just mean temperature-wise, not necessarily employment, because it may be a great place, but you know, you're not going to live from, you know, you can't make a living on whatever it is that they happen to have there. I happen to like Florida, except I hate how hot it is. Most of the year, it's actually gotten better. I'd say 6 months of the year, it's just bad, but it's home. I can't imagine living anywhere else. But I'm a spoiled American when it comes to air conditioning. And ice. I want ice in my drinks, damn it. Alright, where is this? Hawaii. Nope, volcanoes. Sorry. You know, I hate humidity, but not having it is worse for me. I like humidity with cold. So I would do well with like, Germany or something like that. Well, temperature-wise anyways. I don't want to live anywhere that if I save all my marks up and buy a Panther tank, it doesn't get stolen from me by the government. Oh man. I hope that doesn't end up in a dumpster somewhere. Was that guy a war veteran? I hate to break it to you, but there's probably a bigger fan of hers than yours. Now, that's not for me to tell you to dial it up to 13. Ever hear of the Clovis people of the Midwest? I have not. I have not. San Diego? I couldn't live in California just for the earthquakes alone. I probably would like the weather in, say, the Bay Area or near the Bay Area in California. I'd probably hate everything else about it, but I can't deal with earthquakes. I mean, I could visit a place that had earthquakes, but I can't, live there. I mean, I can't have all this stuff and then all of a sudden it comes crashing down, and start over. I'd have to find another hobby. Say, F it, I'm going to play Nintendo now. Well, not Nintendo, because Nintendo's not violent enough for me. I'm a pacifist 24/7, so I want to play violent games. Never heard of the Clovis people. The only Clovis I've ever heard of is, Clovis of France. Or soon, Clovis of the Franks. I got a guy that I know that goes and takes these trips to places that are under-civilized by my standards because he does insect study and stuff. And he was telling me about this incident that he ran into. That he went to this country in Central America, and he was camping there, and he got involved in freaking gorillas, and they thought he was a gorilla and all that shit. I'm not going into a war zone unarmed. I'm just not going to. Well, I don't want to go armed. I'm just saying that, oh, there's conflict over there. Cool, I won't go there. I'll go somewhere else. But I'm not a violent person, but if all the bad people are going to be armed, by God, I am too. Let's see, how can we... Seems like I'm going to waste some no matter what. And I don't want it to go all the way to the edge on purpose. We got 3 of these. We'll save this one. It's not like we're not going to use it. Let's see what we got here. Well known. There were hunter-gatherer people near Montana in the Midwest. Well, the professor who taught me archaeology is well known for his work doing the Clovis peoples and their arrowheads. So well known, in fact, that an academic in Germany recognized his name when told him. He asked me what the guy is like. Mammoth hunters. That'd be a fun game. Gotta hunt mammoths. You gotta fight like Neanderthals too. Well, wise man once said, you could fill in the blank. Can't be into everything. Mammoths are just poor man's dinosaurs. No, that'd be cool. Mammoth, mastodon. Can't remember if they were both around at the same time, but you could tweak things a little bit. You can't be into everything. You can, and just not get anything done. How satisfying is that? It's not. Oh, I can't pick on Rick. He washes. Rick is not a typical gamer. He has a very organized house. I value that tremendously. I put a lot of value in going a place and not being overwhelmed by chaos. And most gamers don't have that. And I hate chaos. I wish I would have. I'm just going to stop right there. I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to be quiet. I will say nothing else. Sometimes you can have too much shit, you know? And, that cleans up really nicely. Yeah, this stuff's pretty soft, honestly. It's really soft, actually. But I can't do this with, this is nice. You can take all that little bit off. You have a nicely finished stand. And you can't really do it with the other one as easily. I just meant an orderly house. Yeah, that's not necessarily a gamer problem, that's a personality problem. Just like you could say, oh, well, gamers are always at bad sports. What about people that are sports fans? I know lots of people that are sports fans that yell at the TV. They think their team's getting screwed no matter what happens. Oh, the referees cheat. Oh, I can't believe the bottom line. They're just. I don't want those people to show up at my war game because they'll be the same cheating bastard. Can't see the truth if it's in front of them kind of people. It's a people issue, not a venue or interest stuff. I know that I have. If I have somewhere where this gets too chaotic, I got to clean it up because I'm constantly distracted by something. Like, hey, look at me over here. What is that? Oh, it's nothing. It's just shit that's not supposed to be where it is. Damn it! I'm pretty orderly, and I still misplace wherever the hell I put those German crews. They'll turn up. It's just annoying that I can't have them right now. I don't want to turn the whole place inside out, but I was probably in the middle of a sentence talking about something else and put them down somewhere they weren't supposed to be. And because I have lots of little bags, they're here somewhere, and they'll turn up. And I'm not going to play into chaos. Chaos is not going to win. I'm not going to stop everything I'm doing and spend 3 days to try to find them. Because I got stuff to knock out. Okay, now these are looking good. This goes back into the isn't it? Oh, I didn't even glue them down. See, I can't do two things at once. Not even close. I don't want to go to the edge because I want it to be a little bit of a grab a little around, make it a little easier to grab the edge of them. Sorry, go Cards. Cardinals? It's okay to like sports. It's not okay to scream at the freaking TV and like think that, oh, the referees are being paid every time. It's everybody's out to get your team. I mean, you don't even know any of the damn players. What's the big deal? It's not like, somebody called your mother a such and such. And living in a town that is, the only thing that people have in common in this town is freaking sports. I'm just tired of it. It's bad sportsmanship, people. I'm not saying everybody that's in it, but a good majority of them, they are. And I don't mind watching the game, but I don't get emotional over it. Like I said, it's not like it's your daughter out there. IKEA visit. Yeah. The good thing about IKEA is if you find something there, it's probably about the best price you could find anywhere because there's no middlemen. And it's not like you would think that they would have a bunch of Chinese shit. This thing back here that I have my figures in, that's from IKEA, and it wasn't super expensive. So, but I wanted to get one of these little cup holders. That's this cup holder right here that I used to put my thing in. I'm like, oh, I got to have one of those. I didn't realize. And we don't have any in stock. I said, well, you've got like 7 for display. Can I buy one of them? No. Fine. So guess what? Amazon got my business. Okay. Right. So I'm not going to base this one because this one's done. Let's go ahead and goop all of these, and then we will all be gooped up. It'll all be goopta. Right. I need more ice and a beverage. I'll be right back. Did I get the cup holder? No, it's right here. I have it. I'm using it. There's a million kind to get on Amazon too. This one's excellent. And I thought about getting a second one to put my water cup in it. But the mistake I made is I went to IKEA and I got this thing to put my brushes in. This little caddy thing here. It was like $15. And I shouldn't have, because I found out on Amazon they have a lot better options for the same amount of money. Because I had to kind of commandeer something. So I may not keep this forever. I may end up replacing it with something else, but it works for now. No. This goes here. All right. I guess I'm operating without contacts in, with my contacts in. I'm operating in 2020 with, Old man, blind man up front. It's really weird for somebody that's been nearsighted their whole life to not be able to see something because it's too close. It's really kind of a mind screw. I'm getting too old to keep stuff. Gonna start selling, nobody here to DBA with, so might as well get rid of my armies. I'm not getting rid of mine, but I'm prepared to never play it again. And I'm okay. Because here's the alternative. My alternative was, okay, I gotta really push DBA so the 10,000 hours I've spent painting these figures won't go to waste. But now I'm like, okay, if I keep building DBA armies, they're keeping me from doing stuff I want to do. I want to do some tanks. I've been wanting to do tanks for years. And I couldn't because of this schedule I had to keep of, I have to make this for this show and then put this on and then make this award. And I'm like, F that. I'm done. That and, I pushed DBA super hard the last 2 years since the pandemic. And, people just aren't interested in it. So I don't care, So I just feel like I did a lot of stuff for other people. And, I got tired of playing Minority Whip. Hey, are you going to come to the show? Hey, you going to come to the show? Well, when is the show? It's the fucking same time it always is. If you're interested in going, you should, be proactive. So I'm just tired of playing Minority Whip and, it's keeping me from doing other stuff and other factors. And it's not really actually a bad experience of playing tournaments per se. It's just, I'm just tired of, it's keeping me from doing other stuff I want to do. And I got lots of stuff at work I don't want to do and I have to, and they've added it to the plate with the new normal. And I'm just really intolerant about doing that kind of stuff on my free time. Let people that are retired step up. So, and I don't have any ill will towards people that play DBA. I played 2,500 games of it and had a great time playing almost every game, probably 95% of the games. So, but it was just too much, and no matter what you did, it wasn't good enough because people weren't showing up in the interest that I was exhibiting, putting it out. And, no, it is what it is. Now, do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. I feel like my painting has advanced so much. To do World War II now, it's just going to be stellar. So, and I like the idea that I build a tank over a weekend and paint it. I can move on and do something else. Like I feel like painting a Polish tank. I don't know, just something weird, I can do that. Not like, well, I got to paint another, 40, Wehrmacht tanks because I need them for this show. Nah. Or, I have to play the set of rules because everybody's playing it, even though it's not really exactly what I want to do, but that's what everybody's playing. And I'm like, I'm playing what I want, And if you don't like it, well, I didn't invite you to come over anyways. It's just, not that big a deal. I don't care what games other people play. I don't go on here like, oh, you're stupid for playing, Flames of War or whatever. You play what you want to play, I just give you the reasons why I'm not playing that stuff. I would love to play board games like Nordic does. I just don't want to spend the time learning how to play the game, hours and hours and hours, and then realize I did it wrong. It's just unsatisfying. As far as playing the game, absolutely. As long as it's historical, it's going to make me want to read about history. And that's fun. Learning is fun. Yeah, I didn't like that whole building both sides thing. And the problem is I was going to shows and worried about people destroying my shit. So now I'm just not going to go to show, and I'm not bringing it to shows. You know. I haven't gone to a game night on Monday in probably a month, because if I do that, that's time that I'm not doing this, and I'm just prolonging ever putting this game on. You know. People don't seem to like historical games here. That's that's most people. You know. And then people are just nomadic. They'll be like, oh, they'll get into one game. They'll be into 40K or whatever, and then a couple years later they're not into it. They're always nomadic. You know. You need to do what you like to do and screw other people. You know. Don't worry about it. Think of this as like building models that you may have a chance of playing a game with. You know. 40 card games make 40K seem like the best game ever. And I've never played 40K, but I absolutely detest card games where everything's done for you and it's just like, oh, you gotta collect, you gotta buy random packs and see what you get. Yeah, that's like gambling. That's basically what it is. They want you to. I'm not buying that shit. I don't have an infinite amount of income. This is not a very illustrious thing that I'm doing tonight, but it's got to be done, you know. Like historical stuff's always like about scales and stuff like that. Oh, why don't you do 28 millimeter? Because I've never done 28 millimeter. You know, I'd actually never done 15s until I started playing DVA. I'm a 20 millimeter World War II guy, and I did 1/2400 scale ships. And I did micro armor and stuff. But the problem with micro armor is the infantry are just not very. They don't look interesting enough to build them. It's like nobody wants to play them. You know, so you've got. It's like if you play a DVA game and nobody wanted to play the skirmishers. Well, it's all important. But if they look so boring that nobody wants to play them, I'm going to have no problem doing both sides. And I don't have a timetable. It may take me 10 years to get this going. I don't care. What rules? Face a battle. Not available in stores. It's an actual scale. So you throw a grenade is like freaking 15 inches away from the figure. That's what I want. Well, it's stupid. Well, that's what I want to do. You know, I know other games that are 1-to-1 scale game, but they're compressed. So if you put the guys touching each other, they're actually not touching each other. So when you go into a house, what you see is not what you really, any small house is going to be like warehouse size when you do it that way. What's that game that's really popular? We used to be pretty popular. Battle. Every set of rules sounds the same, doesn't it? I don't remember what it is. But it's a 1-to-1 scale game, right? You can only throw a grenade 4 inches away. I'm like, and they play with 28 millimeter figures. I'm like, that's just way too condensed. I don't want to put the effort. I don't want to put this kind of effort and then get that and then play it that way. If you want to play it, fine. It doesn't do it for me. This set of rules, somebody sent me one of the scenarios to it. And it's got all kinds of the wrong vehicles at the wrong time period. I'm like, I start seeing something obvious that you miss, and I'm like, the credibility of the author in a game is just like goes out the window for me. You know, you're just totally using the wrong vehicles. Bolt action. No, it's not bolt action. I would never play bolt action. If you enjoy it, cool. Enjoy it. Whoops. I am pretty confident I will not play another tournament game again. Well, I'd never played it before DBA. Maybe if they come up with DBA 4.0, we can see what that's like. But I'm not a vague player. I don't like vague math. I don't like abstract math. I don't like abstract games. I just stuck with it because it was fun. Everybody was doing, well, not everybody, but, you know. But it keeps me from playing this stuff, or at least potentially playing this. God, what's the name of that set of rules? Battle something. Anyways, I don't play it. I sold my copy. Easy 8, whatever the Easy 8 game was the name of the publisher. 4 inches a grenade goes. Thrown. No. So yeah, my game sucks because the ranges are really short, right? The width of the board is only like 150 meters. Okay. So it simulates other things. It simulates things in slow motion. It simulates things maybe at night. You know, you're not going to do, you know, a Nashorn shooting at somebody all the way across, you know, the Russian steppe. You know, every other game does that, you know. That's not what it's for. Okay. Now these things have to dry. So we will go rinse this bastard. I'll be right back. I'm notoriously forget to do that. It's not a big deal. You just have to scrape the stuff off afterwards. No, my objective in doing this isn't to play the game. The playing the game is, you know, a fringe benefit along the way. Alright, let's put these little guys over here. And I think we can put all these jokers here drying and move them out of the way until tomorrow. Oh no. There we go. Was that everything? Okay, so of course that means all these vehicles, I'm not going to just goop this guy. I mean glue this one down. So she can wait until tomorrow too. Alright, do I have another lid? No? Well, I have this container here. That'll have to do. We're going to put all of these tanks. Well, that one's complete. That one go in there. This one's complete also. That can go in there. And sealed, for that matter. This one's complete and sealed. And so is the Panzer II, but she can stay there. This guy is not sealed, but complete. Right? And I couldn't resist to put 2nd Panzer Division markings on it. I just thought it looked really pretty freaking cool. You know? Yeah, she's got some... Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll finish these guys up. Tractics, never played it. Yeah. The problem with tactics is I'm sure the infantry rules sucked. I don't want infantry to be on stands. I want infantry to be individual. So like when I'm looking at a game, there's individual things that I want. I want the grenade, where the grenades land is a random event, because that's part of insanity, and I want individual men. So if I'm going to put multiple guys on a stand, I might as well play ASL. Or the other one. Whatever it's called. Lock and load. Right. We can use this. All right. We got some metallic things here to... should be able to get by with this. I don't know if any of you guys were here the other night, but my way forward is this. This is going to be epic. So we're going to put magnets on the bottom of our trees. And we will make sections of forest that you can pull these things off of. And they still stand up, so we don't have those ugly stands on there. And obviously this one hasn't been doctored up at all. Just a little bit of doctoring up, dry brushing, and painting the stand makes these trees look a hell of a lot better. So we were able to do that. I was really happy with it. And I've got all these extra magnets, and that's going to come in handy for the RSO. Because we're going to put a magnet in, that way we can make it turn whichever direction we want it to. It could stay that way. Yeah, I never played Tractics. I did play a game called Panzer. I know they've re-released it now, a long time ago. But I don't like games where that's like World of Tanks, where everybody just has just tanks. Did it happen? Yes. Was it a rare event? Yes. Generally there's ground pounders around as well. It's like Warhammer. The people that play, the people that paint the miniatures that get used in Warhammer, that are in Warhammer, that are in White Dwarf magazine, are amazing painters. Why would they play a game that is so generically basic with a miniature that's painted that well? It doesn't make sense to me. Edge of the World on Hulu about the British lord who became ruler of Borneo in the 1840s. Yes, but were the infantry individual people? Did they get based individually? And the other thing is what kind of decisions are you making? Are you making decisions where everybody follows your orders? Because that's not the case in these rules. I'm really happy with them. I'll be happy to find rules that I would like better, but I just don't think they're out there. And with that said, if there's something in them I don't like, I'm going to change it. If something doesn't go with how I think that they are, I don't think I should need to do that. But, if they got the armor values, not like, well, that's what the armor values are. It's a tournament. We got to play it that well. Then the days are over with. Sorry. If they got the wrong data on something, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, the cost of the miniatures and how good they look doesn't deserve a game that vague and basic, Because I don't want to paint and not do my best job ever. You know, I want to do the best job I can do. Where is the beige brown? Let's see. Beige brown is... But if you're happy with it, that's fine. I'm just telling you why I won't play it. It's not worth the effort. If it has less detail, if I'm playing a World War II set and has less detail than Gates of Hell Ostfront, why don't I just play Gates of Hell Ostfront? Because there's nothing to paint for it. It's already done. You hate the look of Space Marines. I don't like that a guy this tall only shoots this far away. It's like, and it's supposed to be like in the future? Like what, is everybody like massively nearsighted, including the bullets? See, that's the thing about science fiction. I prefer, if I have to play science fiction or fantasy, I prefer fantasy. Because science fiction has this, to me, science fiction means that there's some reality to it. Okay? Because it's science, right? You got to trust the science. So there's got to be some laws of physics that apply. Oh, shit on a shingle. Oh, it's stuck here again. No, we'll just put your happy ass back. There should be plenty. I'm not using a wet palette for this tiny little bit. And sometimes the science can be extremely variable. Sometimes, like Battletech. I think Battletech's a great game, but it's supposed to be in the future, and those weapons are more inaccurate than they are now. And I even mean whatever it is, Rom-Com or whatever the hell it was called, Comcast, or you know who I'm talking about. Before they had their Civil War, they're not that much different than the regular weapons, but they're all a lot more inaccurate than So what the hell happened? You know. That's just not my thing. Besides, if I was going to play Battletech, I'd just play a computer game. It's incredibly good. And looks good, too. I've played it quite a bit. I haven't played it in a while, but I've played it quite a bit. I think it's pretty challenging. Track to hit armor thickness deflection. Well, that's cool. But so who plays it now? And then the question is, why don't they play it? I'm sure that the infantry rules just don't. Weapons are backwards. Big guns, short range, small guns, long. Yep. They did it for play balance. Yep. The bigger the gun, the shorter it goes. It's all howitzers. Needle gun and mortar. If it was a historical set, that's what it should be called. Needle gun and mortar. One thing I really don't like about the Battletech world is the 2d6. I don't like the bell curve. I don't like the 2d6 system because a +1 is very variable. Sometimes it doesn't make much of a difference. Sometimes it makes a lot, depending on where it gets added. I don't like bell curve grading. I feel like that wasn't a thing in college, back when I went to college. Played PC Battletech way too much. I regret never trying the mods for it. I never tried them either. Isn't it a great game, though? It's a great looking game. Some of the city fights got freaking old, though. And I like that, you found weapons, so you could start modifying your guy. It's just a really cool game. I always liked the Stalker. I always liked the Stalker. I haven't played in about a year, but I played it quite a bit. And it was funny because as soon as I played it, it brought back all these memories of 20 years before. And what I understand is one of the people that's on the team is actually one of the original BattleTech people, and it's true to its heritage. Pretty freaking cool. And the art in is really nice. The art for the cutscenes, how it's done like an oil painting. Really like the look of that. And I didn't try any mods for it. I just don't have the tolerance that I used to for playing video games for a long period of time. I just get bored. It's either too easy or the game is too stressed out, it's one of the games a small group plays here. Yeah, they have a game store that opened up here that has all kinds of stuff and liquor and everything. They have all the Vallejo paints. It looks pretty cool. I went in there one time on game day and it was way too many people. It was just too loud. And there was too many people that were strange. I don't mean nerdy. I just mean just freaking strange. Why do gamers have to be so strange? We're all nerdy to one degree or another. Of course, I call the people that are sports fans, I call them sports nerds. Because it is. They know how far somebody ran around with a freaking turkey under their arm. They're into stats too. Okay, I think this guy's done. I think this guy's pretty much done. It's funny, this color varies so much. In the daylight, well, I got to put the hatch on there too. I'm leaving that until I put the crew member, whatever the hell they are. Yeah. I got to be careful because some of these are really, really heavy, like this one, and that one is really, really light. So you go to grab it, you're like, oh, sorry. You have a box of Chaos Space Marine Terminators, and the leader of the Black Legion, Kev, and they're in boxes waiting for me to decide to build and paint them. I hate the game, but enjoy the models. Do they make them in white metal anymore? Or are they just totally given up on it? They totally given up on making things out of white metal for that? I don't like figures in plastic, but I don't mind vehicles in plastic because you got to like add things to it. It's a hell of a lot easier to do this. Drill into this when it's plastic. You like the Warhammer Fantasy figures, even though they've stopped supporting it. What are you talking about? Is it Sigmar now? They do not do metal miniatures anymore. So some people say it's because of cost, but you know, the cost gets passed on to the consumer, right? Like businesses don't pay taxes. They get passed on to the consumer. But I think because molds for white metal eventually wear out. They do. All the 20 millimeter figures I have are from the Stalingrad range are gone. They're like the molds got destroyed and they weren't worth repairing. And I'm sure injection molded stuff isn't as much because you got a mold that's made of metal and you're trying to squeeze things out that's made of plastic, so you're not, the difference between the two is dramatic. I think they probably did it because the molds last longer. And I built those 1/35th scale multi-pose figures, and they're not real fun to do. I don't really enjoy doing them, so I don't really like plastic figures. Plastic tanks, no problem, easy to drill things out. I actually prefer it. I actually prefer it. They got rid of squats? What? Why would they do that? Seems like an integral thing to have in there. Were they offensive to short people? Is Game Workshop games ones that they pandered to the woke crowd? You guys watch my videos. I laugh about everything. This is the way I am. And if I can't do that in a game, well, I guess I'm not playing that game. Probably didn't sell well. I'm not a fan of dwarves. I always want to play a human, not a dwarf. Is there any small part of you that wants to take one of these woke games and just play it in a non-woke game to stick it in their face? Even just a little bit? It's like, oh, you want me to play it like this? Well, we're not going to play it that way. We're going to play it a different way. See if their heads spin at night. See if they got this, like, you know, the executives of the companies can't sleep at night and can't figure out what it is. It's because you're playing a game in a way that they didn't approve of. Hey, it's your game. You bought it. You can play however the hell you want. You know, there's this one guy that I know, and I would say he's pretty in left field, but he still can laugh about stuff that's funny, you know? And that's, when did we stop being able to do that? That's the problem. I don't care that you know, more one way than I am. You know, at least laugh about it. We stopped being able to laugh about shit. That's when everything went to crap, you know? Use as an example. Somebody I don't. Oh shit, we're gonna get political. No, we're not. I'm just saying the stuff that's kind of obvious. You know, a guy that I rarely agree with just about anything on is a guy named Bill Maher. He's a like leftist comedian. Okay, that's fine. He does some funny stuff, and he laughs about. You know, he laughs and makes fun of people that are on his side when they do stupid stuff. That's all I ask. You know, just like, you know, take the blinders off sometimes. And I think some of the stuff he says is pretty funny. And I disagree with about 95% of what he says. Skylab! Let me put this little, this little square thing is a block that goes, that the jack that is prevalent on just about every German vehicle, it sits on it. So it's made of wood. This one happens to have, like, looks like metal, like surrounding it or whatever, but that's kind of a go-to thing. I remember that I had not painted it on the Panzerkampfwagen 4J. The last hobby show I went to, one of the local players, I won't tell you who it is, it's not really important, but they said, oh, I talk about everything but religion and politics. And just to prove them wrong, we talked about both. And, you know, you can talk about anything with anyone. You just can't talk about anything with people that are on a crusade. And that's the problem, the people that are on a crusade. People take comedy too serious, even though it's not serious. Yeah, I mean, you know, one of you guys that was watching this probably on Saturday morning was telling me about that guy, like, oh, you probably would like Jimmy Carr. I do, he's hilarious. But that's the kind of humor that I like. Although he's more sexual, and I prefer humor that's ethnically. I like ethnic humor. That's what I grew up with, you know. Doesn't mean that one group of people is better than another, but, you know, we all have these generalities, and it's fun to talk about them and laugh about them. But yeah, I'm not going to change. That's how I was raised, and I'm only going to be around another 40 years or so. So deal with me. I don't care, you know. There's lots of things I don't like on the internet. I don't comment on them. I'm not going to change anybody's mind. F them. If I say something you don't like, fine. Just tell me to go fuck myself, or, you know. Well, you don't have to tell me. You know, just move on. I don't tell anybody. You know, I don't care. I am not a crusader. Okay, now we're done with this guy. Okay, back to the big guy, because this guy is pretty big. I am very religious and political, but I don't like to talk about them. There you go. I'm neither. Oh, here we go. Girls are here. Hold on 1 second. Da-da-da. I am a spiritual individual. I hate to talk about religion and politics. I prefer to keep my opinions such matters private. Well, if someone were to ask me, just not an argument. Yeah. Well, you just got to be tolerant of other people, Just don't try to convert people. Okay. What else we got on this guy? It's amazing how much bigger this thing is. It's actually, somebody was telling me, oh, that's even larger than 1/72nd scale. I said, well, that's tough because we're going to use it. You could get hung up on scales. You go and watch, there's lots of websites like ScaleMates and stuff like that. On the Way, 1/72nd scale. These guys are like, okay, this is wrong and this is off by a millimeter, and that's all fine and good, but there's something wrong with just about every model. And at some point, you got to be happy with what you have, and you can't throw money at the problem. There we go. I had this guy that used to come in the store all the time, this older guy. I enjoyed talking to him. Well, he wasn't that older. He was maybe in his early 60s. Well, and I was in my early 20s, so yeah, it was older. Maybe early 60s, maybe not even 60 yet. But anyways, he'd tell you everything was wrong with every model, but he never built anything. So he basically like deflated himself. At some point, these aren't for display purposes. They're so you can see the stuff in action. And the main thing is just kind of make them kind of look however you want them to. You know, this thing was all kinds of weird. This Panzer 4G, this Italeri kit is just has all kinds of stuff wrong with the turret and stuff. So I took all that stuff off, and it does not have a sight aperture on this side. And I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, you know, I may try to paint like there's one there, but you know, at some point you just got to do the best you can with a model. I didn't design it, you know, and I had already bought it. And would I go and buy another one now? Probably not. Okay, I probably would be. That'd be a reason not to do it. But I already have it, so and it'll end up looking great. It might be inaccurate, but it'll end up looking great. Or I will be happy with it, which is ain't the only thing that's important. That you, the creator of the artwork, is happy with how it turns out. Because if you're not, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to make any more. And that's stupid. Which one is the J, the one in the box? It's basically an H, except it doesn't have, it has a different type of muffler on it. And it doesn't have this little motor here because it did not have electrical traverse on the turret. It was just hand crank. And we haven't messed with the antennas. We got to replace the antenna on this one. I think the J doesn't even have a mount for the antenna. We'll jerry rig something. But even if it's something I have to retrofit, it's somewhere I can reach it. So we're just going to build what we can, power through. But the sprue isn't working. I'm not happy with the sprue. It's getting too brittle. And several of them have snapped on me. And I'm like, there's no point in putting any effort into building them if they're going to snap on you. The sprue part anyways. Sprue antenna. I don't know that he got bit. I think the body is the same. I mean, the body change. The F1, I believe, has about the same basic body all the way through the J. There's some small variant differences, but size-wise, I don't think they got any bigger. Okay, so that's the cables that'll be there. We'll end up dry brushing some gunmetal on that. We do the tracks in the track color, and we got to do the old muffler in the muffler color. All right, let's get out the wet palette for this to mix the muffler color. But you know, I got some that are 20 millimeter, you know, so loosely. I got some that are 1/72. I got some that are 1/76. I already have them. I'm going to use them. The Hoffman's here. The Hoff. Nordic seems like a person that would have watched that show. Right. Hello, Hoff. It's catchy. It's the nicest thing he's been called all day, and he knows it. The Hoff Show. There you go. You know what show that is. I didn't watch that show. And it wasn't before my time. Yeah, I don't like dumb girls, so not exactly the show for me. There's a couple shows that I started watching it, and I've gotten pretty far on them, and then for whatever reason, I don't watch them anymore. And it wasn't because I didn't enjoy the show. I just forget about them. I get sidetracked, and that's actually happened several times. Trying to find some rules for mass combat and TTRPGs. I want to say you told me what TTRPG is before. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Never watched it. Can't say I've ever seen a single episode of it. But there's a couple of shows that I've watched, that are available, that I started watching them back in the streaming age, meaning like tabletop role playing games. Okay, in the streaming age, meaning you can watch, not when it was live on TV, but you could watch the first episode and then watch the next one and watch them in order and not miss anything because, you know, there's things that tie in from episode to episode. And I'll go like 3 or 4 seasons, and there's shows that have long seasons, and I've just stopped watching them. And sometimes it's actually a show that I didn't think I was actually going to enjoy. I actually ended up enjoying it. I don't really know why I started watching them sometimes. Like, one of them in particular is I don't like cop shows because they're too cut and dry. Everything gets solved in an episode, that kind of stuff. But I got sucked into watching. Oh, here we go again. We're talking about media again, and I forget. What was the name of that show? Yeah, I know, right? The Shield. I watched like 4 episodes of The Shield, and I actually really liked it. I liked it because the catch is he's corrupt, and that's what makes the show work. So then it becomes more like a mob show that you don't know who's going to drop because he's corrupt. So I watched like 4 episodes. I don't know why I stopped watching. I was enjoying them. The other show I watched like 5 episodes of and never finished it was Burn Notice. And I was enjoying Burn Notice. And I just, I get sidetracked, watch something else. Forgot. I was watching the old Miami Vice movies. I wasn't allowed to watch Miami Vice when it was on TV. It was too violent. And I was, somewhere between 14 to 16 years old. My parents didn't want me watching, so I never got to watch it as a kid. And probably watched 3, 4 seasons of that to stop. Won't watch the D&D movie. I will. I just won't watch it in the theater, so I'm going to watch it in a way that they don't get any money from it. Ha! How about that? I fully expect it to suck. I don't like watching stuff in the theater. And the reason why is you gotta pee. And then you miss the freaking movie. Forget the cost, forget everything else, okay? They're actually pretty comfortable. You know, the sound's pretty good in the movie theater. I understand just about everything, even without subtitles. And I watch subtitles and everything, so the sound is good in the movie theater for me. I just hate that, you know, you gotta like drink very, very slowly. You're gonna miss part of the movie. And what ends up happening is I don't go to the bathroom, so I'm uncomfortable for half the movie. It also took down John Wick. John Wick could be so much better if somebody else was in the role. He just has zero charisma for me. And I understand he's a good guy. Good for him. You know, there needs to be more people in Hollywood that are good individuals, like as a person. But his acting sucks. I'm sorry. And yes, it's great that he did all the gunplay stuff himself. I would, you know, that'd be the fun part of the job. But oh, shoot a bunch of guns, I don't have to pay the ammo bill? Sign me up, right? But he just has negative charisma. For me. And I've watched the first three. The first one's actually a great movie. You know? The gunplay is great. I love those kind of movies where he's using cover and stuff. That's the kind of shit I like. Again, revenge movies. Best best kind of movie. If I can only pick one kind of movie, it's revenge movies. All day long. Everybody's raving over The Mandalorian. It's alright. It could be so much better if somebody else wrote it. You know? Maybe people love it so much because everything else sucks so much. You know? I don't dislike it. I just think it could be a lot better. I hope what's her face that ends up not backstabbing him. I don't really have any good advice on boredom. Do what we all do. Eat. Mandalorian season 3 has sucked. The only good part was the attack on a pirate corvette. Yeah, I didn't care for Captain Seaweed. You know, it's like you like freaking out of ideas, you know? It's like I don't know. I'm not a fanboy, you know. It's not. There's nothing where it's like everything they come out with. I'm not one of those people that I'm like, oh, this is my favorite band, and as soon as I like everything they've come out with. No, I call something a dog when it's a dog, you know. Captain Seaweed. Let's make this guy it's like freaking Moss, and we'll come on, man. Ultraman. I don't think that I know Ultraman. That's terrible advice about eating. That's what we all do. Eat stuff that makes you sick, makes you throw up. That's even worse advice. Hey, it's free. Don't complain about advice when it's free. It's what we all do, and you know it. It sucks that we do it, but when the girls leave and I'm doing this, I eat a lot less. I don't eat the house. You guys keep me on task. I hope we get to see one of the mythosaurs in action, though. I like big creatures. Since it was the other day, I feel alright complaining about April Fool's Day. I really hate that day. I never find the humor funny. I wish they could execute people who do April Fool's Day jokes. And I didn't catch any this year. I absolutely hate them. I absolutely hate them. Somehow it's, cute. This one guy that I know was like, "Oh, that's it. I hate to tell you this, but we're moving to California." And I knew it was an April Fool's joke right off the bat. And I should have just said, like, "Well, it was nice knowing you," and just never talked to him again. Like, I hate April Fool's stuff. Yep. Because what do I dislike more than anything else? People lying to me. You're freaking lying to me. So you can't be trusted now. You can't be trusted. One thing I never did, and I still don't do it. My daughter's like, she's going to be 18 years old soon. I'd never ran around and scared her. Never. I never ran around like scared her in the house. Like, why? No, nothing good comes from that. You know? Or lie about shit. It's like, you don't have anything to stand on. Yeah, April Fool's terrible. I should have. Yeah. Just like, you're dead to me. No, I don't really communicate with them much. So next time I'm like, "Oh, you didn't move to California." I said, "Oh, it's an April Fool's joke." I said, "Well, I'm going to say something nasty to him." One of the websites that I used to visit all the time, the guy who ran the website would always do some April Fool's joke. And I'm not really. So, okay, so you want to know what I really hate about April Fools, okay? And what just happened? Like, nobody, when I was a kid, everybody did April Fool's shit. And everybody, if you didn't wear freaking green on St. Patrick's Day, and you have to understand, I'm not Irish, okay? Nobody in my family is Irish, okay? But if you didn't wear green on St. Patrick's Day when you were a kid, you would get castigated look that word up. You would get castigated like you wouldn't believe. And now it's like, oh, nobody wears green and gets away with it, but they still want to do the April Fool's stuff. Oh, no, 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 no. Should make a list of people who do April Fool's jokes and beat the shit out of them on St. Patrick's Day for not wearing green. There you go. Pay it forward. Or is that paying it backwards? I don't know. Or just prank everybody on every first of every month except April. Oh, it's May Fools. Oh, just kidding, May Fools. Why does April get the? Why only April? There's a couple of sites that I subscribed to that did an April Fool's joke, and I had saved that meme that says "Not today, Satan." Literally, it's perfect. It's perfect for that. Like, hey, we're gonna make this new thing. Not today, Satan. You wear orange on St. Patrick's. You're Protestant. Okay. Whatever works for you. 55 pages in this book. What book are you reading? There used to be an actual fear of something happening to you when you didn't wear green. Now people walk around freely and peacefully with no green on. We need to get the fear back. That's right. I shouldn't have to wear it. I've got green eyes. But you still do. There's no way I would not wear green on St. Patrick's Day. There's no freaking way. You know? But people get away with all kinds of stuff. Wear socks that don't match. What kind of hell do you live in where that's acceptable? Half of the family thinks I'm colorblind. The color green is invisible to me. Is it a red-green color blindness? We had the Paradise Snare Book 1 of the Han Solo trilogy. Is he like Harrison Ford Han Solo or some other version of Han Solo? You guys seen that fan film that one guy did of Solo before the movie came out? The guy's got all of Harrison Ford's Han Solo mannerisms down. It's really quite amazing, and he didn't get the part. Well, I don't know if he was. I don't think he was auditioning for it. He just kind of did it out of the goodness of his heart. But it's superb. It's better than the Solo movie, which honestly is forgettable. I don't remember anything about it. Okay, we'll need to wait for that to dry. Where to next? This guy, because we cannot do this one. Oh, we can Agrax this guy. We can Agrax him. Yeah, let's Agrax this dude. Red, green, blue, purple. It's the purple, blue stuff that gets me. I've never seen any fan films other than that one. Oh, wait, you know what? I did see one that has Darth Maul in it. It was pretty good. Well, those of us that are fans of movies, we want a good film. People that are making the movies want to make a buck. Fans want a good film, What did we have to do? Oh, we needed to do the moufleur on this one as well. Right. What is your least favorite Star Wars character? I remember as a kid, I always liked Hammerhead because I didn't have very many of those toys, okay? But I had Hammerhead, and it's like he figures so like not at all in the first movie, which is really the fourth movie. You know what I mean? It's in the order they came out with. It's the first movie. What classic Star Wars character can you not handle? Let's not say the new ones, because the new ones have so many that are just ridiculous. Or maybe what Star Wars character that lots of people like? I'm not paying attention. I'm mixing stuff wrong. Luckily, this is forgivable. It's easy to fix. What classic Star Wars character, especially one that lots of people like, do you not stand? I asked the question, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I have to watch him again. My daughter was saying, "Hey, we should watch the original Star Wars movies again." Okay, the first three, sure. You don't like the Mandalorian series, or you don't like whatever his name is? I think he lacks charisma when he speaks, but maybe that's just the way he's supposed to be. Yeah, but Jar Jar is technically a new one. I mean, the original three. I guess lots of people would say the Ewoks, but I don't really like that guy that was in the third movie. He might have been in the second one as well. Whatever his name is, the Asian looking alien dude that spoke in a weird language that was the sidekick of Calrissian. Whatever his name is. You could play him in one of the Star Wars games, actually. I'm just like, yeah, you're just trying too hard, you know? Porkins. Oh. I didn't know that guy had a name. You just don't like him because he didn't fit in there. He's not a good fit. Yeah, for the cockpit. Dun, 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 dun. I don't like some of the characters that just have these huge Napoleonic type sideburns. You know, you got like one of the generals or whatever, like the guy that gets strangled at the beginning of the Empire. You know, he's got like these huge freaking Napoleon. He's like a what? You know, you hanging out with Marshal Murat or something like that with these huge Napoleonic sideburns. What's up with that? I mean, I know it was the '70s, but you know, get a clue, man. Jar Jar should have been a great Sith Lord. Yeah. I would actually say that young Annie is more annoying than Jar Jar Binks. I can't stand smart ass little freaking kids. Like I don't like movies where like adults are scared of shit and like the kids show up and like, oh, they're like freaking heroes. Look, I've been a kid before. Kids are scared of shit, okay? You know? That's actually one of the things that I liked about Stranger Things the first season. The kids were scared of crap. Perfect. It happens, you know? And Napoleonic sideburns. The Baron had large sides. The Baron. Oh, you know what guy? Well, he's technically not the early movies, but the guy that everybody seems to like and I don't like. I don't like. Oh man, I forgot what his name is. He knew it was gonna happen. Oh man, Christopher Lee. I am not a fan of Christopher Lee. I do not. I am not a fan of Christopher Lee. Okay, he's been in a lot of movies. Cool. He's a war hero. That's nice. I still don't like him. Just something about him, and just I don't care for him. You know, there's just some people that you're just better off without. Uncle Owen's famous blue. Was there blue milk in the original movie? Yeah, I'm just not a fan of him. I'm just not like, he's cool. No, I don't like him. I don't like him. How can I say I don't like Christopher Lee? Like, I don't like Christopher Lee. I don't. Sorry. I can't like everybody. He didn't make the cut. That's unsubbing words. Well, it was nice knowing you. Being honest, at least. I really didn't like him in the Lord of the Rings movie. You like the roles he plays. Okay. He's probably a cool guy. He's a war hero. He just doesn't do anything for me. He doesn't. Not my thing. If you like him, you enjoyed the movies more than I did. That's good. You felt bad for him. And he dies a lot, doesn't he? Now, to be honest with you, how many things have I seen him in? I don't know that I've seen him in a lot of stuff, okay? Obviously, Lord of the Rings, the Star Wars movies, Man with a Golden Gun. That may be it. I like Peter Cushing. Just something about his voice. He just doesn't do it for me, you know? I've never seen him as Dracula. Sorry, I just haven't. I haven't avoided it, just didn't, you know? Blue Milk, spending hours milking banthas in Star Wars galaxies. Never played it. Wicker Man, no, never seen it. There's some actors that, for whatever reason, don't appeal to you. Horror flicks. Yeah, I don't watch horror flicks, you know? But the actress Kari Mysak, I don't recognize her name. We will find out who she is. She cute? Probably not. I would have recognized her name. Kari Mysak. You sure you spelled that right? Because it's not coming up. It's not an April Fool's joke, is it? Kari Mysak. No. Not coming up. Don't know who that is. Yep. Oh, wrong one. We need to get the higher power ones. Well, I actually survived not taking the contacts out. This is what I first had to do when I started not being able to see up close. And it worked for a little while, but It's kind of cool to get up and personal and be able to see these details a lot better than before. Actor I hate like many, Will Ferrell. I can't stand him either. Your sack, huh? Is it dangling too low for you to carry it yourself? Yeah, I can't stand Will Ferrell. It's the same shtick every time. It's like, hey, watch me, I have no shame. Anyone traveling for Easter? I have the cooking responsibilities. Anybody dressing up in a bunny suit? Any furries watching? I will be traveling. I will be out of town, so no Sunday show. But we should be here on Saturday. It actually turned out really well. Or I like it anyways. Okay. That's it. We want to do the wood on that after we've done the weathering. So that one's ready to weather. The movie I thought he was okay in, however, was the one where someone was writing a book and everything happened to him. What's it called? I thought he was okay in that show that movie that he did recently with Ryan Reynolds, whatever it was called. I thought that one was actually okay. That holiday one, that Scrooge type thing. But I had really low expectations, so that kind of helps. You like to write. You're the anti-me. I don't like to write at all. I like to learn. I like to take notes. I really do like to take notes. I like taking notes, but when putting all the stuff together, I just get writer's block and find it frustrating. Okay. Agrax time. Nope. You are null oil. Go away. Bugger off. I never understood how Jabba the Hutt had any power. Like, you're a big slug. Like, you can't even stand up. Why would anybody be following you? You know? You'd think people would have just gotten tired of his shit and just sprinkled salt all over his ass. You know? Done. Stranger than fiction. That sounds familiar. It sounds like something that's based on a book or something like that. Tony, do you know a good source for the unit size of weapon distribution of the USMC and Japanese in World War II? Well, no. No, I think the Japanese had there's like strengths of squads, and then sometimes they don't necessarily meet up to the size that they're supposed to do. I want to say the Japanese had a 13-man squad. I don't know about the USMC, but the standard US squad in Europe was 12-man, but sometimes they ran with less than that. Just like the German one was standard 10. I think the British was 10. Russians was 13. I think, if I remember correctly. I think the Japanese were a 13-man squad. I don't know. I'm sure you could find it without looking too deep. But, that's always kind of like the maximum size. I don't know that the Japanese had an assistant squad leader. I was... But that stuff shouldn't be too difficult to find. But, like I said, I'm not really into the Pacific theater. Even though I do have some Japanese troops to do. I believe they had a 13-man squad. I could be wrong. Battalion size, no. Han just deep sixed one of the huts in this book. Yeah. He'd bring a salt shaker. He assaulted him. All right, enough of that. Most I've done reading about the Pacifics, I did read, is it Richard Frank's book? I believe that's what his name is, on Guadalcanal. And I remember really liking that book. And almost felt sorry for the Japanese. The shit they had to go through. Because they were that was just a disaster for them. Army-wise. They'd land. They didn't have enough. They had supplies for like 3 days. It'd take them like a week to get into position. So they were like half malnourished and had to go all the way to the other side of the island. And it's a good book. It's a really good book. Has lots of detail on the naval stuff and the land combat stuff. In the Army, our squads were 6 instead of the 10 it was supposed to be. Yeah, there you go. Did you have an assistant squad leader as well, or was just one leader with 6 guys? That's the other reason I don't like to do really early war, is I like the Germans to have both of both the squad leader and assistant squad leader both with machine pistols. I think that's what makes them unique in my book. In my yeah, well, I'm not writing a book, but for me. Obviously they could grab whatever weapon they want, but that's what the prescribed thing was. Got to get going. Need to do a grocery store run. I thought you were on Eastern time zone. Maybe your grocery store is open later. All right, man. Have fun with somebody carrying your sack at the grocery store. Texas. Okay, you got another hour. That's right. Most things close about 10. Unless you're going somewhere like, I don't know, Walmart's even still open 24 hours, or we lose that too. Adios. That's right. 8-0. Adios. Reese's Cups. Like them, huh? I'm not a chocolate fan. I do like peanut butter, but it's not something I ever buy. Don't forget to wear your boots. You go to the grocery store in Texas. You go do anything in Texas. Sorry, I remember about Texas. Everybody, they wore boots to the freaking pool. Crazy. I actually think Texas is pretty cool, but that was kind of a weirdism for me. You're wearing boots? What? I don't know any cowboy. I don't own any cowboy boot. Good lord, I don't own any cowboy boots, and I would like to keep it that way. I don't know that our Walgreens is 24 anymore. We used to, and then that will not be mentioned happened. Okay, I need to go to the little boy's room. I'll be right back. Okay. A lot of cows should wear boots. Yeah. Yep. Cow droppings. Okay, this guy's done. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, we got to do that. We got little accoutrement to paint on this guy. Oh, and I never painted the tracks. I guess I should paint the tracks on this thing. This thing actually looks pretty decent. It's got, it's a little rough hewn, but not at a distance. At a distance, it actually looks pretty good. Keep your distance so it'll look good. Let's go ahead and paint the tracks on this thing. The thing that surprised me a lot, the only state, well, I haven't been to all the states, but the one thing that really surprised me that I wasn't expecting is when I went to Colorado. I was expecting, in Colorado, I figured, oh, there's going to be a lot of steak places. Well, there may have been, but they were well hidden behind the Mexican restaurants. It was like all Mexican restaurants. You know, and I don't mind Tex-Mex. I do not like Mexican food. You know, it tends to be a little on the bland side. I like Tex-Mex stuff. I don't want to eat it for every meal, but you know, it just felt like there was like no variety of restaurants when I went. It was all. This is before the pandemic, so figured, oh, there's going to be steak places everywhere. Should I could stay home and eat Tex-Mex or Mexican food? That really kind of surprised me. So I know there's a lot of Mexican food in Arizona. Best thing about the Panther was its gun. I think the ergonomics of the turret are probably pretty good too. But yeah, it is an excellent gun. There's no doubt about it. What's a fat cat? You know, it's supposed to be a 35-ton tank and ended up being a 45-ton tank. I'd say the best thing about the Panther is how it looks. I think it's a good looking vehicle. I think just about anybody would agree with that, though. That's kind of a, you know, goes without saying. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a Zimrit fan. And I'm pretty sure that every Panther A, like this one, had Zimrit on it. Every A and some G's, and probably like half the run of G's, had Zimrit on them. And I'm not a Zimrit fan. Mainly because it makes something look sloppy. Because a lot of the times it was just really, really sloppy thrown on there. I always thought it was concrete, but apparently it was a mixture of all kinds of different stuff. It probably just looked like concrete. Phoenix has a lot of those barbecue set up street corners under sunshades. Okay, cool. Did you ever go to that hobby store I was telling you about? They got one guy that advertises. He's from on YouTube. I forget what the name of the place is. It's not in. It's not Phoenix. It's a suburb of it. I'm pretty sure. But he does like kit reviews and stuff. That's pretty cool. I mean, have an active hobby store. That's what's that like? That's like the 1990s. You know, in a good way. Scottsdale, I think, is where it is. The molded Zimmer on a 35th Panther. I remember when I was doing 1/35th scale miniatures. I remember reading in some book, and it might have been wrong, but it said that the Panthers had a certain pattern that was all squares, and that's it. They didn't have any other kind. But I just looked at it recently, and it depended on what factory they were made out of, whatever. So that was apparently not true. But I remember that the Zimmerits that way. So I looked through another book. I really should take notes. And I mean notes about things that are of particular interest to me, not necessarily on everything. When I come across something that's kind of interesting in a book that has to do with organization, or maybe what type of vehicles or numbering was done in what unit or something like that, I should write that stuff down, because what happens is I'll remember it. I don't remember where the hell I got it to show you guys. But I was looking through this book. I went out of town yesterday, and I played passenger for part of the trip. And while I tried to stay calm, I was able to read some stuff. And this book that I have, it's actually a very good book, called Panzers in Normandy. And one of the things I had on here in particular was there was this chart. I don't know how accurate this chart is. But I like looking at stuff like this. This is a German armored units in the West. So it broke down by division. How many Panzer IIIs, how many Panzer IVs, how many Panthers, how many Tigers, assault guns or whatever, per division. So that's pretty cool. And if you go on, it'll give you some divisions and actually tell you, here's the 20, well, let's not use the 21st Panzer Division, because it's kind of a freak unit anyways in Normandy. It's kind of a unique thing. But if you're looking at like the 12th SS Hitlerjugend, it's got 2 battalions. Obviously, that's what the standard makeup of the Panzer Division was at that time, 2 battalions. The common thread here is that the 1st Battalion, if there were any Panthers, they were in the 1st Battalion of the unit. Can I take a picture of that page and send it to me on Facebook? Sure, which one? I can't commit that I'll do it today, but yes, I could do that. The common thread is when there's 2 battalions, the 1st Battalion is the one that has the Panthers in it. Didn't know that, okay? The other thing that kind of struck me is that one of the divisions, I don't know which one it is, I'll find it here in a second, had 2 battalions worth of Panzer IVs and no Panthers. And I'll see if I can find out which one that one is. It's the 21st. Okay, well, the 21st is kind of a freak show anyways. It has all kinds of weird things. But the one thing that struck me is that it seems to be, I have to dig a little bit deeper than this, the only time in Panzer VIs or Tigers, the only time in any of these divisions that it's listed as King Tigers is Panzer Lehr. So Panzer Lehr may have actually been the one division that had King Tigers at Normandy, because it also has the separate divisions, the 503rd Heavy Tank Battalion, 102nd, those all just say Panzer VI. So the other thing that also became kind of apparent is, unlike what many people may have expected, the SS Panzer divisions did not necessarily have a better amount. The Army divisions had more Panthers than the SS ones did, and that's not what you would think. So, but anyhow, I came across that, that was kind of interesting. But I'll have to look and see if the King Tigers, of course, all the King Tigers that would have been in Normandy would have been what is frequently called the Porsche turret, which is actually the pre-production model turret, as opposed to the Henschel or post-production model turret, which really I believe both of them were actually made by the same manufacturer. It was just whether it was a pre-production tank or not. But all of the King Tigers that were at Normandy, which there weren't very many, would have all been the one that had the shell trap on the front, which I actually like the way it looks better. It has the cupola that sticks out off the side of the turret a little bit. Just let's get a little bit more excitement to it. But I actually don't have any King Tigers and don't really need any. But yeah, that was kind of unique. That the first battalion's always the one that has the Panthers, and the second one is the one that has the Mark IVs. So, yeah, here it is. 1st SS Heavy Tank Battalion. That's the one that Whitman was in, right? 45 Panzer VIs. Okay. Well, a King Tiger is also a Panzer VI, a Panzer VI-B, and it's called it's listed as King Tiger. So I wonder if that's what it is. Interesting. Flames of War probably has a book with that info. Not that I know. They don't do full historical accuracy. Really? What is the name of that? What is that name of that show? That store? There's a store that has a ton of models, and they do freaking videos of it. It's in Arizona. I thought it was in Scottsdale. I could be wrong. I've never been to Arizona, so I'm allowed to get their cities wrong. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. It's like a person's name. It's like Frank's House of Hobbies. It's not that, but it's something like that. We had a place in Jacksonville in the early 90s. It was called the Kit Bunker. And it was this guy's garage. It was a big garage. And he had it stacked with every kit you could possibly want. So I want to go there and want to buy a Tamiya Panzer IV H kit. And he had like 4 of them or something like that. So it was almost like he was a collector of just models. And, he had 170. I mean, I wish that place was around now, but, times are definitely completely different than they used to be. Andy's Hobby Headquarters. Okay. Used to be subscribed to his channel. Well, whatever town he's in, well, we should be able to find it now. You told me what his name is. He's in Arizona. Andy's Hobby HQ, Arizona. Glendale, Scottsdale, same thing. Glendale. Yeah, it's a suburb of Phoenix, isn't it? I mean, you guys have like Phoenix and then the desert. Let's see where we are on this map. Uh-oh. Here we go. I'm like, where's my cursor? Yeah, it's a suburb. Everything's a suburb of Phoenix. Yeah, Glendale. Well, it's inside the loop. Hobby Garage at PJ's. Okay. Well, it's getting pretty late. I'm probably going to call it a night. How long are we on here? About 3 hours. That's not bad for a school night, so to speak. But yeah, just trying to wrap all this stuff up. Next week is going to be a heavy hobby week. The girls are supposed to be gone after Tuesday, from Tuesday on, so we'll be filming every night for sure. Trying to stay busy so I don't eat the house. I've been pretty successful with that. But we got this barrel coming. We got antennas coming. We solved the problem with the trees. I got to solve the other issue then, but I'm pretty happy with that. We'll be able to have these trees stand up by themselves. And got a couple of these tanks to finish up. Got some ugly German stuff to do. Yeah. good all around. So, anyways, thanks for coming by. As always, I'd tell you to subscribe, but you guys are all subscribers, or you wouldn't have even been on here. You just got to know that, hey, some idiot's going to start rambling about stuff. Ooh, that sounds like a good idea. Anyhow, thanks for coming by always, and